Welcome back to Geekshow Helpdesk.
Oh, that feels
Tony's
better.
back in the saddle.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's like King Richard coming back at the end of Robin Hood.
To be honest, I like
Yeah.
being in the saddle too.
Jaren
but-
nailed it.
Yeah.
That's exactly the
Connery.
feeling. And it's just for a second. He's just like,
Well,
Yep.
don't get too-
Everything's
and
good
that's
now.
it. Yeah,
don't get
everything's
too
good
comfortable,
now.
guys. We'll do regular rounds of other hosts.
Rotations?
I'm in. I'm in. I love it.
I don't even think it'll be a set schedule either. You'll just find out. It's gonna be great.
No,
Surprise
oh, boy.
host.
No, that's the best
Ugh.
way for you, Owen, because then you don't have time to worry about it.
Oh, that's true. You know what? That's true.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
true.
Exactly. No
I
anxiety.
can
if
just
you don't
mute.
know.
I can just mute real quick and have a short panic attack. That's
right.
Vomit.
Get your breaths in,
I can just
vomit,
get it
and then
out of
come
the
Bring
back.
a
way.
brown bag.
Yeah,
right.
just
Got
come right
this.
back. Yeah, and it's only for like a few seconds instead of a whole week. Sweet.
This is Geek Show Help Desk, where we talk about tech gadgets and other things like that, science-adjacent stuff, sometimes straight science. You never know. But let's kick it off by introducing our panelists. We have a guest panelist today. And
Hey.
not just writing in this time. He's here physically over the internet.
I
It's
could almost
Lang.
touch him.
Yep. Tony said I had to write 500 times, and boom, I made it. So anyone else that wants to try that, go for it.
Yeah, go ahead and give that
Is that the way that works?
Not all at once though. Has to be consistent.
It's like a loyalty card. Get your punches in.
One word each email.
There you go. All right.
Yep.
Did you have anything you wanted to plug, Lang?
Yeah, this is Lang. Plugging. Shoot, I think the only things I'm on Instagram. Look for me there at. This is so funny. Jaren improved my tag because my tag is Gunpla because I'm a hobbyist, Skyfire. But since it was one word, when Jaren would say it, he'd say Gunplasky fire all the time. So I changed it. So there's an underscore when you start looking for me. So thank you, Jaren.
Oh,
Um,
Wow.
glad I could
I'm also-
contribute.
I peek on Blue Sky because after the shenanigans from last year, I don't think any one of the panelists is still there. I just jump on there and use it as my Twitter. So
I
come
checked.
find me there.
I occasionally dip in, but it's very occasionally. So
Yeah.
all right, down there next to Lang, we got Owen.
Oh, hello.
Did you hear the big
Hello.
long Jaren pause?
Hello. I was just collecting my thoughts. Hello, dear listener.
Did you
I'd
find
like
them
to
all?
thank you for coming to the podcast today. You can find me here mostly, and occasionally I'll lurk. I don't. I was going to say Twitter, but I don't even do that anymore. Twitter's gotten so much worse. So, yeah, here is the best place for the Geek Show Arcade, where you'll
right.
get some lesser and Owen energy.
There you go. Hey, coming at us with that wood bookshelf energy. It's Jaren.
Hi, I'm Jaren. I'm back on Twitter, baby. It's a fantastic platform. I'm optimistic about its future. I'm being facetious.
Oh,
You
I
can-
thought this is what happens.
Oh, I
if you,
couldn't tell.
I thought this is what happens when you take a break like you did. I was like, could I feel this happy if
Just
I
like
took a
recharge.
break? Yeah.
I want to be happy too.
Yeah, so I'm Jaren. You can find me on Geek Show Arcade as well, and here.
And we got Lando the Lambo
Gross.
right next to
It's
me.
Lando. Lando's the name that I like.
Lambo's the
Landon's
game.
fine.
Lando's the name, Lambo's the game. You know, I was going there, Tony. You got there a second before me. I love that.
Anyway, I'm here. I'm here on Geek Show. I'm on the arcade show as well.
Kinda.
Kinda. That's really fair. So yeah, that's me. But most important of all the things, we have a host. His name is Tony.
Hey, check me out on Twitter at QuadTTony and here and other Geek Show podcasts. All right. Well, now that that's over with, do we have any emails?
No, we don't.
Oh.
the
yeah,
email
he's
the email
here.
we would have gotten is here.
I
We have
see,
an
I
in-person
see.
email. Lang,
We
ask
We
a
started
question.
with one of 500. Here we go.
I think we got an email in our old box. I think we
Did
got
we?
a forums email. Yeah, I got a notification about it.
Well, are you going to read it, Owen? Because I don't have
Well,
it.
I think you put me on the spot for reading.
Well, then why
brought it
bring it
up.
up?
Because you
brought it
guys, because you asked if we had any emails.
Owen, if you take initiative, you get responsibility.
That's
Okay,
Exactly
it's
how
from
that
Nah.
works.
It's from Nah. Let me see. So the Gadget Spot, if you remember, we were a mixed bag. So let me see if this is more gaming, or
This is fantastic, Owen.
Real time content here, guys.
here it is. It's a good email from Nah. You guys know Nah?
Oh yeah, nah.
Yeah, Nah. He said, my message, here goes. My life was changed when I learned about the cube rule. A hot dog is not a sandwich, it's a taco.
I knew it. I thank you,
It's a
nah.
sandwich.
Thank
Wait.
you for dialing it. Or,
Tacos are also
emailing it.
sandwiches.
No,
No.
incorrect.
There you go.
Well
it's
done,
a
Nah.
closed it's a closed bottom.
Which
That
makes it a taco.
qualifies as a taco.
But you don't use bread in a taco.
Taco is like
Would that
a more
mean-
descriptive
Let me tell you-
sandwich, right?
let me
The
tell you.
Would that mean
family
that a
sandwich,
sub-
the genus is taco. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
You do. You do use bread in a taco. It's unleavened bread. They're called tortillas, Jaron.
But
No, no. This is a hot dog. Is an arepa. That's what it is.
what
it's not a
about
taco.
what about
That's
like
It's not
a
an option.
type of
Sorry, bud.
sandwich?
what about like a Subway sandwich, like a sub sandwich? They don't cut all the way through.
No.
Yeah,
a
until you
taco?
break
Sandwich.
that. Until you break that, that's a taco. You
We're
gotta
eating
break
tacos.
that.
at
Sandwich.
Subway's a Mexican restaurant.
It is. Yeah.
Ha!
Yeah. This
I
is-
gotta
this
tell everybody this.
No,
is-
Jimmy
we're learning-
John's.
We're learning things.
Jimmy John's is all. Oh my mind is.
No, Jimmy
Having a
John's
minute.
cuts all the way through.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
No,
Really?
they don't. No sub sandwich does.
No, because I go to
too
Jimmy
messy.
John's pretty frequently, and I'm pretty sure they cut all the way through.
They don't cut all the way through.
Anyway, now that I've won that argument, we can move
though?
along to the
Did you, though?
stories.
Thanks, Owen, for reading your email. Right,
Thanks,
Jaron?
Owen.
Jerk
Great.
face.
Say it, Jaron.
Say it.
Thank him.
Thanks, Owen.
You're
You're great.
Nice.
That was
You're
great.
great. You're just
I'm
fantastic.
gonna remember that forever. Did everybody feel that?
That's good. Yeah.
Everybody
It felt
felt
great,
that.
didn't it?
It felt good.
The love.
Was it your birthday?
Kind of.
I don't know, but even sighing like that was the
Yeah.
cherry on top. Like he was like he was like, wow.
I felt it.
After it happened, though,
I felt it.
This
I
is
felt
what
it.
it sounded
the
like.
beeper.
Thanks, Jaron. Yeah.
That's what it sounded
Beeper
like in
commercial?
my head after he said it, though. It's like,
Yeah.
that
Oh,
just
there it
doesn't
is.
work.
He's having to reboot. He's like a corrupt line of code.
Uh-oh.
Change the registry settings without rebooting.
By the way, there was something I was working on last week, and I Googled it. They had me change the registry settings. I did not reboot, even though they suggested I did, and it worked.
We know that this is classic Jaron. We know you're going to not reboot. I mean,
I know,
yeah,
and it
it's
worked.
doesn't mean it's
So,
right.
Just further confirmation
for
that I'm
now.
right.
Confirmation bias, you mean? All right. Let's see. You know what? Okay. I don't often agree with Ron DeSantis. In fact, almost never. But I think he
Where's this
might have
going,
been,
Tony?
I think he might have been onto something
Like,
this
It
time.
was weird.
Warning.
The
Warning.
The Florida state government has DeSantis signed a bill that bans children from under 14 from having social media accounts.
I have definitively
That'll
mixed
stop 'em.
feelings.
I do
But-
as well.
it's at least a step in trying to.
Yeah, but how
know,
how do you do it, right? The devil's in the
You
details.
punish the
That's-
parents. That's the
That's
thing.
what it's going to have to
now
be.
it becomes
You're
a
gonna have
narc,
to make
and
the
that's
parent,
true, right?
Oh my
the
gosh.
parent needs to be
Culpable.
the parent. You
Yeah.
know?
Well,
to
the
be
parent should have been the
culpable.
parent in the first place, Tony.
Guess
Here's
what?
here's my
They're
problem
not,
with this.
though.
How do you do it, right? So you're having to give a whole bunch of information about your kids
You're
to
you're missing-
Facebook to
you're
verify the
missing
age. I'm not okay with that,
You're
Tony.
missing the point, Lando.
Privacy's a thing, buddy.
I think it's a post, like after they get caught. I think it's a deterrent after the fact, not the point before, but like afterwards. So like if something happens and they find out, oh, this kid's super messed up, and
No.
they see, oh, their parents were letting them on social media, then it's after the fact.
There you go.
Yeah.
They go after the parents. I don't know.
See, I think after a couple of months, the parents are just going to give up. I worked at a sporting goods store that will not be named back when airsoft guns came out. And I'm not supposed to sell them to anyone under 16. And I'll tell
Right.
you what, how many parents came in with their kids literally just like staring them down, like, you get this for me now. They're
Right.
gonna cave.
They're just gonna do
totally
it, right?
cave.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so
yeah, they
does
are.
this ban block even? Is there no parental consent that can allow them on? I didn't read the law, or is it just a complete ban under 14 and under?
There's no such thing as a complete ban. They can't do it.
It's a gesture more than anything. And yeah, but it says those who are 14 or 15 will need parents' consent before they join a platform.
So there's okay. So I'm
Click here if you're over 18.
This is the danger zone. So fair warning. But Utah, many other states try to do this with porn. They've tried to ban porn for underage users, which is a good thing in theory, right? But it's the same problem I have with this, right? How do you prove it, and how much of your data are you willing to give free willingly?
I see
to
where
these
you're
companies?
going with this, Lando. I see where you're going, but the alternative is
Nothing, right?
I
do
don't
nothing.
like the alternative, Tony. I didn't say that.
well, that's sure what it sounds like.
And like
This is a
like,
danged if you do, danged
It
if
is.
you don't.
It's a catch-22.
yeah.
And
And just like Lando was saying, it's a slippery slope because it's the same thing with gun control, right? Like you kind of get into this, how
nothing like gun control.
like
understand
the
your point.
alternative.
I
No,
don't like
what
it,
you
but I understand
what
it.
you said, like what Tony said. It's the argument against it is like, well, the alternative is to do nothing.
No, that's not an alternative with gun control. There's so many
Tony,
alternatives.
But that's
what have
they're
you
saying.
done to this podcast?
That's what I'm saying.
political.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is like that's the same argument that they make. Is they're like, well, we can't
that
change
is
anything.
it's a bad faith argument for sure.
Yeah, it's a bad.
Yeah.
So they go, well, the alternative is to do nothing, and they're like, well,
Right.
yeah.
So
you know.
Lando has a bad faith argument right here.
no,
faith, Lando.
no.
Lando's
that's
in
not
bad
the-
faith.
I'm just glad
That's
that
it.
I
That's
stepped
what I
around
heard.
Are
Tony's
we a
ire.
tech podcast or what? Do we not care about privacy? What's happening? Am I going crazy right now?
We sort of care about privacy, but I've said multiple times how much I've given to Google. So
Well, that's one thing. You chose to do that.
Well,
So did those kids,
define
parents.
privacy. I mean, the kids are going to put all their stuff online anyway because that's
No.
the environment they've been raised in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they should
And
be
they're
taught
just-
better.
and-
we need,
and
we need
they're
a
just-
DARE program for privacy and for like information
Yeah.
online.
Guess what happened
That's
with
what we
most
need.
DARE graduates?
Privacy.
They ended up seeking out drugs.
Not me, man. DARE scared me straight. I've never ever done any drugs in my entire life.
Congratulations on being the minority. Well
Yeah.
done.
They scared me straight. It worked for me.
Worked for me too. I'm a dare baby.
Please, you guys wouldn't have done it anyway, even without DARE.
Probably true, but it
So-
sure
Yeah,
helped.
you don't know.
I don't know. Well, I hope it. I don't know. I guess we'll see the data. We're not.
That's the
because
thing, you
Florida.
know,
No, we won't. It will just
yeah.
Yeah.
not be in the news, and then they'll just go back to it.
Yeah, because Florida did so well with their COVID
yeah.
data.
Yeah, they're super well about giving out data. Like this could be valuable. This actually could be valuable
I
data
mean,
about
if the data does get out, someone's going to get sued, just like
Yeah.
what happened in COVID.
because like social media, as we know, has a huge effect on the mental state of children.
It has a huge effect on
Anyway.
my mental state.
I would
Yeah.
say though, back to this, I would say I would err on the side of trying to do something than not doing anything. That's the way I feel about this particular
okay,
subject.
Tony.
You know,
Tony, okay.
I'll give that to the Republican Party about doing crazy things. At least they'll do something crazy. You know, like
Oh, I think that's both sides. Both sides.
no,
will do some
Florida.
crazy
I think
stuff.
maybe Florida in general. Like they'll do a crazy thing.
It is home to Florida, man. So
Yeah, Florida man. And did they ban spring break this year?
no,
Probably.
Are you
No,
kidding me?
they gave it a really high curfew, is what they did.
Yeah,
Or
they
early
like
There's no way
yeah.
they would ban. They can't ban spring break. That's like
Such
one
a-
quarter of their money for
Yeah.
the year.
Yeah.
but they gave it a curfew. It's like anyway, sorry, just
Did anyone
bizarre.
follow
Florida,
it? I
it-
don't know.
Yeah.
If anything, it'll make people go there more so they can,
Break
break the curfew.
Feel
It's
rebellious.
quite brilliant, actually.
We're on the weeds here. I like this.
All right, time to
We
rein
are-
it back in.
Thanks a lot, Ron.
Yeah, thanks DeSantis.
If you notice how he
let's see.
stands, he stands like a centaur. Next time you see him stand, he stands there like his chest out, like he's got a back half
Is
of
he
the horse.
Is he the guy that was wearing
No.
lifts?
Now hang on. You're
Bootless?
not wrong. You're not wrong. But what we have here is referred to as, I believe, a straw man attack
Oh,
or
1,000%.
ad hominem. I mean, it's like
Didn't say I was doing it in good faith, Tony. But he does
So-
stand funny.
yeah.
So does Elon Musk. His chest
I was
looks like
gonna
a
say,
Cybertruck.
So does Joe Biden. I mean, they all.
How come people stand so funny? Maybe that's a thing for being. Anyway, keep going, Tony. The show is off the rails. Get us back.
They're
Bring us
all
back.
crazy.
Bring us back, Tony.
You're the one that keeps taking us back
I
off the
know!
rails. I could just mute him, I guess. Let's
Probably
see.
for the best.
Let's talk about another another topic that's not very volatile, AI. ChatGPT is rumored to be coming this summer.
Not only ChatGPT, but GPT-5.
5.
I was going to say, what do you mean it's coming? It's already here.
The next one.
There
Today,
you go.
today I learned we actually did a pretty good job hosting, Lando, Owen, and me.
Oh,
Yeah.
I told you guys you did a good job. You didn't believe
Okay.
me?
Anyway,
You have to question those things sometimes.
GPT-5, the next iteration of ChatGPT, is heavily rumored to be arriving this summer, and hopefully it will correct some of the shortfalls of GPT-4, such as hallucinating, which is a nice term to say lying or giving bad information.
Alternate
name.
facts.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
No, baby, I just hallucinated.
Yeah. We'll just refer to that as
hallucinating.
ChatGPT's truth.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Uh-huh.
My truth.
As well as overcoming its problem of being lazy lately. GPT-4 sometimes will just say, no, I'm not going to do that for you.
Yeah, I used ChatGPT. I used ChatGPT 4, and it was like I was like, "Can you write me this code?" And it was like, "No."
I want it to come
it
back
say
with more
why?
snarky remarks like, "This is a stupid request. I will not do it."
Yeah, I asked it to write it in this one. I was helping my son. We were working on his coding, and I was like, let's put your code in here. Let's see what ChatGPT says. Let's see if we can find the error without having to parse through everything." Put it in there, and it's like, this is written. It was like, this is written in BASIC. I fixed it for you and put it in JavaScript.
Amazing.
And I was like, can you change it back and then tell us why it's not working? And it was like, it's not really the standard used anymore. Like it basically was like I mean, I'm giving it more emotion in the voice, but like it was basically like, why?
You don't want that.
Because you're an AI.
I will tell you.
Because you're a freaking robot that do what you're told.
You do what I say.
Yeah, last time I used it, I fed it some data. I was using it for Excel, and it just
Company data?
no, like I was using Copilot. So
Copilot.
our company's allowed to use Copilot, which uses GPT-4. Anyway, so I fed it some data, asked it to identify some things for me, and it said, nope, nothing in here to identify. I'm like, no, here's some examples. I know that data is there. It goes, oh, I'm sorry, you're right. It was there.
Oh yeah, it says I'm sorry a lot.
It's like, so what
I'm
about
sorry.
the rest of it? How can I trust this now?
And so I'm like, all right, give me the rest. There's none of that data in there. Like, you just told me there was. It's becoming irrelevant. So hopefully GPT-5 will correct these things. Nothing has been rumored that says that it will, but these are the main problems with GPT-4. So hopefully there'll be a step up there.
You know what they're going to start doing is they're just going to start. They're not going to do any changes to the large language model. They'll just delete all of its history and have it start from scratch.
Yeah, they just
That's
give it a
5.
lobotomy.
They'll
right?
do it again, and that's 6. And they're just rebooting it every time.
They
basically.
eventually, like all AIs that we've seen online, they eventually
They get
become
corrupted.
They either become narcissistic or they become
Nazis.
Nazis or
Yep.
or homophobic, and you just gotta reset them back to, oh right, I'm normal.
Indeed. All right.
see how that goes.
Let's talk about the big Apple M series flaw that was discovered, security flaw.
Yeah, so this one is kind of weird. There's people don't really have to worry. Attackers would have to have actual access, local access to your device. Now, that's not to say that it won't happen because another vulnerability like this, everybody's like, oh, you have to have local access, whatever. It's not so scary. But then they found a way to put it into a web browser to deliver the package
That's
through
not cool.
JavaScript. So
That's scary.
but this one has to do with prefetching an M1 trying to predict what you're going to try and do and what memory access to or address, what memory address to access to try and to speed you up. This is one of the ways that they have very good performance because it's guessing a few times. It's guessing a lot, and that saves on battery and performance and all that. So the way that it just has to do with the way the M chips optimize. And this virus is called, I'm trying to find, it's called GoFetch. Basically, it's installed. It has to do with the way that M1s break apart their clusters. You know how they've got the eco cores. What do they call those? Is that what they call those? The eco cores and the main processor cores, like the
Performance cores.
performance
and,
cores. Thank you. So the
other-
performance cores. So
Efficiency cores.
efficiency cores. Thank you. And the performance cores. It says as long as GoFetch app, which can be downloaded or however the payload, as long as the GoFetch app and the targeted cryptography app, so whatever's calling something encrypted, are running on the same performance cluster, meaning efficiency or performance, even if they're on separate cores within there, GoFetch can mine enough secrets to leak a secret key.
Oof.
And so it could unlock, eventually the keychain, everything, it could be pulled. And this has to go with so it's 2048 bit RSA. It says less than an hour to extract a 2048 bit RSA key, and a little over 2 hours to extract a 2048 bit Diffie-Hellman key.
2048-bit encryption is supposed to be like unbreakable to the end of the universe or something like that.
Right.
So
Or
how
an
does that
hour.
work?
So it sits there and it feeds encrypted data because it's running on the same cluster. It feeds encrypted packets to the application that is encrypted that decrypts, and then grabs enough of those samples, kind of the same way that the Wi-Fi attacks work, where you keep getting the handshake.
Yeah.
So what they call that disassociation attack, where they basically break off, you mimic some MAC address that's trying to connect, and then you handshake over and over and over until you get enough to
Like,
put the key
fine, I'll
together.
let you in.
So eventually you get enough pieces to get the key.
So it's not that it's breaking the encryption, but it is able to extract the key that breaks
The keys
that unlocks
eventually,
the
yeah.
encryption.
It says the GoFetch app connects to the targeted app and feeds it inputs that it signs or decrypts. As it's doing this, it extracts the app's secret key that can be used to perform these cryptographic operations. So it basically takes the bits and pieces that it's given and then can unlock it. And it's
So
not
what about a fix?
It's not really patchable at the chip level because of the way the M's are made. They would have to do this at the software or at the cryptographic application level, which would mean a huge hit to performance. They haven't really they don't really have a fix. People are saying, it's not really going to be that big of a deal. You have to have physical access, but they're I guess it's still under review. It's pretty new. And so they're still seeing what they can do to try and fix or work around this, but it's basically the preliminary results are it's going to be a hit to the performance. It says this specifically affects the M1 and M2s. It'll specifically affect their performance more. So keep an eye on that. But I don't know that there's a special or anything we can or need to do at this point. If you own a Mac, they don't have
As a
enough
user,
to,
there's nothing you can do. It has to be
not
fixed
yet. Yeah.
by Apple or
Yep.
the cryptographic
whatever.
program that uses
Yeah,
it.
cryptographic program. And to me that's weird because I felt like File Vault is their main thing, but that's all Mac OS, so it must be other encrypted software. I'm unsure. So they don't really say. They just say cryptographic application. So
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on that and see what.
No solution, just
how it
anxiety.
plays out. Yep.
I
Nice.
have
My
anxiety
favorite.
because it sounds like that game Mastermind when I was a kid. Like, guess one little piece at a time, and then you'll get in. Gosh, I
Maybe
hated
that. Maybe that's what
There
they
you go.
modeled it after. Like, you remember that game? Oh, let's build it like that. All right. Saw this in the news, and Lang brought the story as well. A pig organ has been successfully transplanted and used on a human.
So let's put that "used" in quotations because I read the story. So
How long
Excellent.
was it
Good work.
used
Yes.
for?
So it was over in
It's on
China. Yeah, I gave the article in there. It's in Nature, and what they did is they put a pig liver into a how'd they phrase it? A cognitive or like half dead person that was
Oh, this says
dying anyways.
a clinically
A
dead,
vegetable?
clinically
Eventually.
dead man.
Yeah.
yes. So clinically dead. So his he was brain dead, but his body was
yes.
still going. He was on life support and everything, and it lasted for 10 days, which is kind of it's very good. So that's kind of unbelievable right now. But for all of you Geek Show Help Desk folks, I get to show you a little bit of what's happening with the wizard behind the curtain. So where I work, there's a really cool study going on that they have human liver cells in rats right now. And last year at other facilities, they were only getting maybe 15 to 30 days. But there's a researcher that we're with that's up to 120 to 150 days with
Dang.
basically human livers and rats.
What's the
So-
threshold for that? Like, what are we shooting for till we know can say it works? You know what I'm saying? Like, how many days is good?
What do you think?
Longer's
Lando?
better,
long,
right?
How long do you want your liver to
Yeah,
last?
exactly. How
I mean,
long do you want to
Before I
live?
trade it in. Yeah.
No, I
that's
understand your
really
question,
that's
but
really what it
isn't-
is.
Isn't it like rejection happen? If it's going to happen, it happens sooner rather than later. So if you get over a certain point in time, you're like, oh yeah, we're good now.
That's
understand
why
what I'm saying?
this researcher that I work with, it's kind of unheard of, and they are very excited. So they're they're raising that bar quite a bit. So until it's out, it's going to be a few more years, a little bit more testing, and a little bit more thresholds to see how that will appear. But it's very cool to see, for you guys to see what I've been seeing for a while. So
That is cool.
Super rad. I love what it's
Yeah.
called too. Xenotransplantation. That's
Ooh,
a
that's
cool
fun to say.
word. Yeah.
I like the Xeno
Yep.
part.
Yep. So it's coming.
Cool.
Excellent.
All right. Let's talk about some other potentially awesome medical breakthroughs. Despite how much of a dingus Elon Musk is, he has some really neat companies doing some really amazing stuff, and Neuralink is one of those. Recently, a quadriplegic man was implanted, had a Neuralink brain implant done, and the interface from his mind to the computer was robust enough and good enough to the point where he said the other day it allowed him to pull an all-nighter playing Sid Meier's Civ 6 just via his brain and watching the screen.
That's pretty cool.
I've done that
And-
before
and
with
go-kart.
my brain
I've
and
seen
my
other-
finger, but not
I've
just
seen-
my brain.
I've seen other reports too of him
He was
playing
also able to
of
play
playing
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart.
That's
and-
cool.
Yep. So it is actually getting to the point now where this is something that could be viable and really awesome for the unfortunate folks that have, something like quadriplegia or paraplegia, and
Yep.
to be
Do
able
we know,
even
like,
go ahead.
go ahead.
Well, I'll go. So I wrote a book a while ago about there was a hypothetical virus that took over the world that people got that shut-in syndrome, and the whole book was about this technology, about people controlling robots that would move their bodies around, that use their brains to control the robots and interact with the real world.
That was a
just like-
movie with
Matrix.
No, Matrix, yes.
Surrogates.
Yeah, Surrogates. I was going to say that's a movie
Oh, I
with
saw that.
Surrogates was
long
good.
ago.
That was a good movie.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
really
yeah, the
liked
book's
it.
not the book's different than that, but
Oh,
anyway,
yeah,
same idea.
Do we know like how many inputs they can currently control with Neuralink? Like,
So-
let's say
They can play
a game
Mario Kart,
controller.
that's a bunch.
How many different buttons can your brain push?
I mean, if you're playing Mario Kart, you're using at least gas, brake, joystick directions,
Direction, which is up 360 degrees.
possibly also the slide button, so you can power slide, and then you've also got launch your. to
Well, then
launch
how does it
your
work? Do you think to
stuff.
yourself, push A button, joystick left, joystick right, or is it like more
Maybe
like
it's like
just natural
imagining
thought? You know what
controlling
I'm
your
saying?
hands, and that makes
I
an
know.
input into the.
More like walking.
Yeah,
Go,
Lang.
Lang.
You don't think about moving your
Lang,
legs.
yeah. So in the research field, they actually, how do you translate the brain waves because they know all the appendages and stuff. So they've either done one of two ways. Either it's the thought of pushing the button Like, or they imagine that cart moving and they can translate that brainwave
cool.
and then translate it.
That's cool. That's
There's-
what I was thinking.
It's so much.
They use
That's one of
so
my
they use
favorite ones.
pre-programming. They use pre-programming, right? Like he didn't get the implant and then just go play. They had to be like, okay, we need you to think about running, and then they take that brainwave
Yeah,
and then
it's a
Neuralink
process,
translates
like-
it into
like,
you know,
Interesting.
it's like
building a
mapping your
muscle.
controller. You know,
Yeah.
you have to map your controller.
Oh, I love doing that. That's fun.
Yeah.
So
Of course, you like that.
So yeah, this is super cool, and the possibilities at this point really are, limitless, because not only would a person be able to interact with a computer, but I could foresee this becoming something where they could use the brain implant to bypass the broken spot on the spinal cord and transmit signals from your brain to the lower part of your spinal cord to make your legs
and that's
worse.
what Elon Musk sees as the end. He replied to Neuralink's post here, and he said, long term, it is possible to shunt the signals from the brain motor cortex past the damaged part of the spine to enable people to walk again and use their
See?
arms normally.
I'm not the
That's
first
cool.
person
So-
to think about
Like
this.
that's his
Yeah,
that's his idea. That's shooting for the stars. But
Yeah, that's
you
a
know.
ways off for sure, but they're on their way.
We said AI was ways off for sure, but here we are, right?
Right.
Like,
Can
it
I-
came in
True.
so much faster than we expected it.
Can I go down a Neuralink hole a little bit with that?
Absolutely.
yes.
So with a lot of the research that's going into that, it's actually a lot of fun because it branches so much. Like they started off with amputees with hands, so they knew, okay, movement of the hand, right? And they got that down. But then it's like, how hard do you squeeze? And then they went to, what does temperature feel like if you're trying to hold a cup of coffee or something? Like they had to go different branches everywhere. And one of my favorite stories is we were at a researcher was presenting some of the stuff that they were doing with language. I can't remember if I shared this before. That's a fun story though. We were talking and he was doing all this stuff to identify different words, language, have that translate, and almost like, mute people being able to speak. And then someone raised their hand saying, well, what about bilingual people? And right then you could see his eyes fill with joy and absolute fear, because it's like, that's awesome, but now I got to research for 10 more years on how I'm going to do that.
Right,
Because
yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, some of us here are, somewhat bilingual. Those
See?
different levels of are, it's hard because even different levels of bilingual or multilingual, it changes. And so it's,
Yeah.
I feel like that's
fascinating.
I feel like that's just a browser extension for it. You just go to Google Translate.
Could you imagine?
And you hook it up, and you
Nice.
say, "I'd like to think in Japanese now."
Oh man.
I would like my output. I would like my output to be in Japanese now, and it takes your English translation, just dips it through the language translation, and outputs it as Japanese.
So
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. All right. Well, we'll keep things updated as that unfolds. There's a long way to go with that, and a lot of really cool stuff coming up, I'm sure. So, let's talk about making. No, let's talk about that later. We got some Apple news. We're gonna roll a couple Apple stories into one big briefing here.
WWDC is coming June 10th, and Greg Jozuak on Twitter said, it's going to be absolutely incredible, and the A and I are capitalized, and Apple's very deliberate in their messaging, so they're most definitely talking about AI at WWDC.
Who would have thought?
Actually, to me, it's kind of surprising. Apple typically doesn't follow the trends.
This
They
one's too
kind
big
of
to not follow though.
they take their time and put it out and say, "Oh, we invented this." That's the Apple way. The fact that they're talking about AI this quickly after AI got big, or it's currently big, it's pretty surprising in my opinion.
They're still a year and 6 months late to the game.
Yeah, but Copilot just barely went live
Well,
for consumers a couple
you
months ago.
You also have to realize how fast that industry's been moving in the last 18 months.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the whole timeline's compressed, I think. So
Yeah, rumors are they're partnering with Google on Gemini. I think we talked about that last time.
Sure did.
yeah.
So interesting stuff. The M3 chips, they are very good with AI stuff. So hopefully we can actually start using that silicon. In other Apple news, the DOJ has sued Apple. saying that they have an illegal monopoly, and there's some valid points, I think, and some why did they include this? They're
I
kind of
could not agree
ruining their
more.
whole argument here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
a big problem.
So some of the larger points here, they're claiming that Apple is disrupting super apps. Basically, this is what Elon Musk wants to create with X. Super apps are popular in like China.
WhatsApp is a super app in China.
Yeah. They're also claiming that Apple is blocking cloud streaming apps for things like video games. That would
They are.
lower the need for more expensive hardware. So both of these, I think, are valid points. Apple is doing this. Another point is they're suppressing the quality of messaging between the iPhone and competing platforms like Android.
Yeah, got 'em. This is the one.
This makes no sense.
Yeah.
This
They're coming after him for the green bubble.
Yeah,
Th-
that's
this
exactly
make-
what they're doing.
this makes
Yeah.
no sense. So
There's-
yeah,
there-
there's
there's-
bad
yeah,
argument here.
Yep.
They're saying that they're limiting the functionality of third-party smartwatches with its iPhones and making it harder for Apple Watch users to switch from iPhone
Yeah.
due to compatibility issues. This, yes, I can kind of see this. They are not allowing certain APIs for third-party smartwatches. Like you cannot access your messaging history and stuff like that.
Oh, like if
through
you were to use a Samsung watch with an iPhone?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep. So I think this one makes a little bit of sense. Another one, blocking third-party developers from creating competing digital wallets with tap-to-pay functionality for the iPhone. Kind of weird.
Their underlying premise and what they're saying is that you're making it hard, you're making or nearly impossible for users to move away from iPhone. Like you're basically saying once you've got an iPhone, once you're embedded in the ecosystem, you can't move away.
Apple executives are like, yep,
Yeah.
That's kind of the point.
that's what we're doing.
If you look at what happened to Microsoft in the 90s with Internet Explorer,
Right.
Apple is doing that. They're bundling a bunch of services that is exclusive to Apple, and they're not really letting other people, like for the browser, for example, the only browsing engine that is allowed on iOS is WebKit. You can't use Blink, which is what Chromium engines use. You can't use whatever Firefox engines, Gecko, I think it's called.
All for you. It's all for your safety.
Where
It's
I
all for
don't
you.
think where I think they're going to come up short though is if you compare it to Microsoft stuff in the 90s and their monopoly trials and whatnot, they really didn't have any competition at all. Microsoft, you used Windows if you wanted to use a computer, especially in the 90s before Apple had gotten a foothold again in the market. And so the issue with this Apple suit is there is competition though, and Android has a larger install base than Apple worldwide.
That is one of the main
And-
things that they're going to have a hard time proving.
Exactly.
And they're trying to carve out the market so
in
that
the US, right?
so that they can make this argument. They're saying that Apple and Samsung owns 90% of the premium smartphone market.
We'll see, and that's
Okay, the
you're starting to
US.
split hairs at that point.
Yeah.
Premium,
Big time.
So that part is interesting. We'll see if they succeed on that. And they make a point. There's really no companies out there besides Apple and Samsung that are actually making money on smartphones.
in the U.S. I agree. Yeah.
And
Well,
I
the
mean, this
U.S.
is
is suing
akin-
them, so it has to be in the
Yeah.
U.S.
This is
Right,
akin
yeah,
to the EU, right? Are they taking a page out of the EU's book? The EU has made tons of regulations just for the EU. So maybe the US is like, hey, that's
we want
working
some
for
of that.
them. We want to do that.
Yeah. Maybe.
So
And,
that
and they
just
also
escalated
say,
this week too,
yeah.
sorry, what was? Oh yeah.
the EU stuff.
Another weird point DOJ is bringing up is that is CarPlay. It's taking over cars, and
No, it's not.
there's
We
no
know
other
that
options
the
out there.
DOJ
But
In fact, I would say that Android Auto has a larger install base than
yeah,
CarPlay does.
because CarPlay didn't because they didn't
Because-
want to they didn't want to take the hit.
Exactly.
You know?
How do you
It's
define
cheaper.
install
Yeah.
base for CarPlay? It's just a
Yeah,
projection
it's
from your
weird.
phone.
No, that is part of it, but it has to have CarPlay built into the CarPlay functionality and compatibility built into the deck of the car, the stereo and the computer.
Oh, I
in
always
it.
thought if you had Android and your phone was your
No, no,
radio
no.
was projection enabled, you could do either or.
No, you're just thinking of like a Bluetooth connection.
No. I'm thinking about
That's-
it's called a projection.
that
It's
that's how
projecting CarPlay from your phone to your
right.
car.
That's how most cars are. If they support CarPlay, they'll also support Android Auto. But yeah, you're basically projecting your phone's software to the car, and
But
that's
it
that's how it
requires
happens.
hardware and software, or at least software built into the car's
Yeah.
software for it to work.
Support
It's not
that.
just
So is
like
it true that
it's not
if
just
your
like
car
a
supports
pipeline?
if your car supports CarPlay, it also supports Android Auto, or is that
No.
not true?
Not true.
No,
Okay.
it's
Not
if
all the
they
time.
want to enable it, it will.
Yeah.
You know,
So
if
that's on
GM
the
wants to
automakers,
enable
not on the phone company, right? Whether or not they
I
support those
think
things.
I think they're trying to say that there should be other options if you have an iOS device other than CarPlay,
maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
which is
it seems
which
like
is
a
weird.
spurious argument.
Yeah,
That one doesn't make sense to me.
So we'll see where this goes. It's going to be very exciting and very long and drawn out.
Of course.
I hope they win on some points. Other points, it just like we said, it doesn't make much sense. But
Yeah.
they're old people trying to
Understand
something.
technology.
Yeah.
Does it connect to Wi-Fi?
It is. I'll tell you, it is astounding to realize how far behind legislation is with technological advancements. Technology is advancing exponentially ahead of legislation to
Yep.
do anything about that technology.
And that's
That has
twice.
to be that has to do with the people driving the legislation, though, right? Like
yeah, they're all
they need to
dinosaurs.
cede they need to cede power to the next generation, and it wouldn't be an issue. But
How has this happened?
They
That's
don't
twice
allow-
this show has gone
I don't-
suddenly politics.
I don't think it would solve the issue, but I think it would make the issue more
I mean,
relevant. Like
you wouldn't
easier to
have
bring
them
up.
asking if this app has access to the internet,
to the Wi-Fi.
to the Wi-Fi. Come on,
I think it's
all
I think
right.
it's Lang's fault that we keep talking about politics.
No, someone said DeSantis 3 times. It's like Beetlejuice.
That's right.
That's exactly what it is.
Who was
That's
it?
what
Wasn't me.
stuff.
Let's see. All right, we're gonna do a game that Lang has brought for us.
Because I love listening to you guys. Are you guys ready?
oh no, this is going to be bad.
Oh,
I'm gonna win.
Thanks.
I'm excited
Or-
for this.
Come on now.
Or
So
win.
I have a prize for the winner.
What you got?
Yep. I have a replacement for that typewriter behind Jaren for whoever wants this prize. This is going to be good. So,
Ooh.
what I have here is a list right here of quotes
Quotable
from
quotes.
last year. Very
oh yeah.
quotable quotes from last year from the panelists. And what you guys get to do is guess who said it.
Oh, this is
Is
cake.
James included in this?
James is included because
Okay,
All
so
right.
there's 5 options.
how could you not quote some of
Yeah,
his stuff?
he's got some quotable quotes.
So, let's see. I have quite a few, but we'll go. How many would you like to do, Tony? What do you think? Good,
Let's
5
do-
or 6?
Yeah, 5 or 6. Yep.
Okay. Let's start with I'm a power plum.
Jaren.
Who's?
James.
I'm a power
James.
plum?
Yeah, that's James.
Boy,
That's
what is
it.
the context of that?
James, that's
No,
my
you
final
know what?
answer.
Final answer, James.
Well, we're off to a good start. Nope, you already said, Tony. You said one. You can't go back.
I
That
know.
you buzzed.
Well, no, I
You
said
can't go
Jaren
back.
first, and I was going to go back to
I know.
Jaren. After, okay, yeah.
Well,
So I'll
they're
stick
both
with
wrong
Jaren.
'cause
That's what I said
It was you, Tony.
It was me. I'm a power plum. Hey, I'm a power
So
plum.
we're off to a great start, ladies and gentlemen. 0 around the board. Okay, here we go. Next, well, these are great. Another chance at puberty for me. Here we go.
Oh, that's
Oh, I
Jaren.
think that's me. That's me.
100%.
That's got to be me.
Yeah. That's
Good job.
Out of-
So who
out of
gets that
con-
point? 1 point for each, or Tony?
it was either I get the point or it was a tie between Jaren and me, I think.
Okay. Okay, we'll give one for each because you guys just knew. That was great. All right.
Yeah.
So 1 point each.
When you've been cousins
Let's
your whole
go.
life, you learn things like that about
Thanks, bud.
He's seen things.
So here we go. Who said, "Look at capitalism crawl out of Tony's mouth like a demon"?
well, it wasn't me.
That's Owen, for sure.
No, I
Final
think
answer.
it's Lando.
Well, no, it was Owen.
Yeah.
So there was two. So we're all tied up because you both said at the same time. One's across the board.
Oh, baby.
Okay, here we go. Oh, these are fun. Okay, I forgot how fun some of these were. So, truth be told, up here in Oregon, we've had some of those ice storms, and I've had to have very, very long hours at work when other people couldn't make it up here. It's not like Utah snow. It's an
real
ice rink.
snow.
So I spent it's real ice. It's all just ice.
Oh,
Like
right.
ice storms,
Like freezing rain.
freezing
freezing
rain.
rain.
That
It's
stuff's
like
nasty.
right at freezing. Like from going to a parking lot into the bus stop, it took me 20 minutes to walk. Like
It's an
20
ice
yards.
rink.
Jeez.
But I say that because I spent a lot of time and I was trying to distract myself. So I went back to a lot of these great quotes. Here we go. Dumber the search, the better the results.
Lando.
James.
Lando, look who
Oh.
just jumped ahead.
That's exactly something. I would
That's his
say.
quote. Yep. Okay. Okay. If I can, oh man, see, it's hard to. I'm going to come back to that. I don't like to be chastened
Jaron.
or chastened.
I'm going with
No.
Owen. I think that's Owen.
I'm going
Jaron.
Tony.
What'd you say, Owen?
Jaron.
You're all wrong. It was Lambo.
Lambo doesn't
doesn't
like to
like
be
that.
chasing.
Say it
No,
again.
that tracks. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do just a couple more because right now Lando's got one above everybody else. So here we go. Who said he's a chubby version of a Care Bear?
James.
James.
That's a James for sure.
Who said James first? Owen, was that you?
No,
No,
it was
I said
me.
me.
I said
Oh,
first.
Lando. Okay,
Lando.
2 ahead. Goodness. See, I can't. Some of these are way too obvious now. Make a merkin for his face. I don't like that.
Jared.
James.
Make him what?
Make a merkin for his face. I don't like that.
Make a merkin for his face?
James. Totally James.
Was it me?
Final
Did I
answer.
say that?
It was Tony.
Hey.
Make him merkin.
Talking about Jaron.
Oh, a beard. I'm talking about a beard for Jared.
Oh, that's why you thought it was me.
Okay, so it's where are we at? So Lando's got one above everybody, followed by Tony. Here's one of the. We'll make this the last one. So Tony, you better come back, or else, you know,
That's it.
Lando's gonna walk away with it.
It's going to be intolerable if that happens.
No, it's great.
If I can make my butt cheeks look like a hickey, I'm winning.
Jared.
James.
Lando said James first, so you say it at the same time.
No, he said Jaron.
I said
Or
Jaron.
I said James.
Oh, wow, Jaron would say that? No, it's totally James.
That's James.
Attaboy, Lambo. So here's
Jared
the
always
prize.
talks
You
about
ready?
butt stuff, though. So
That's true. I'm a butt
actual
guy.
prize. Here we
Wait,
go.
what?
So
okay.
I talked with Tony about this. I have a prize for the panelists, but I also would like somehow, I'm going to give a similar prize to Patreon folks or everything, and I'll work that out
We have
with
a
Tony.
spinner for that.
We do?
Yeah, I did it a couple
You
weeks
still
ago.
have it?
Okay.
It's
you
gone
go.
now.
We'll figure it out.
Bam.
Whoa! Sega Saturn model kit.
Yep.
That's pretty sweet.
These are fun. So this is, and he even has the discs for you too.
Oh,
so
that's so
it's
dope.
a lot of fun.
That's
so
rad.
see,
It's going on my
look
desk
at
at work
that.
for
Look at-
sure.
See, that's what I'm saying. You got to replace your typewriter behind you, Jaron, with this. But
100%.
But he didn't win, though. So
I know.
That's true. So next time you'll have to track one down because there's also a PlayStation model kit that I will give away through the panelists somehow, some way. So
Cool.
thank you guys. That's a
That's
little
awesome.
thank you. That was a lot of
Thanks,
fun.
Lang.
Oh, thank you. That was a good, fun game
Yeah.
to bring. Well done.
Good.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we will wrap things up. Let's go ahead and give a big shout out to our awesome Patreon backers, patreon.com/helpdeskarcade. And if you donate $6 a month or more, you get a shout out on the episode, which Jaron has for us right now.
Thanks to David Broshinsky, Connor Keesaw, and Wolfball Tony. Thank you. Jason Eatmon, Keonda Carnal. Is a hot dog a sandwich? No.
Yes.
Yes.
taco.
Yes. Dang it.
No.
Oh, you see, you had it right the first time, Jaron.
Yeah, dang it. Andy Bird, Be the 8-Year-Old, Tony, the Home Theater Geek, Travis Johnson, buy Geekshow Arcade Help Desk stickers at Pieman Graphics on Etsy. All proceeds go to Lee George Cade's medical builds. Jeremy, no name, no color.
Jaron's going to have medical bills.
Kesslo, Eric Steinman, Eric Cruz, Owen has tech cred plus 49.9. Is that how old you are?
Close.
Yeah. Matt Nelson, Harry Patch, Adam, Aaron Faulkner, Stuart Lloyd. History is there for you to learn from or repeat your choice. Ryan M. and Adam Hecht. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Patreon backers. Okay, that's it for this show. Lang, thanks for joining us. He's
Thank you,
waving.
guys.
There we go. For you audio only folks, he was waving. And that is it for us. We'll see you on Geek Show Arcade or next week on Geek Show Helpdesk if you forget to download Geek Show Arcade. But just don't forget. All right, until then, Lambo, take us out.
Never reboot, ever, but especially after registry changes. Be an end user.
I like that one.